Mustangs. Across the defensive front, John Riggs, number 61, at one defensive end. Number 50, Ron Petty, will be at the other. The two inside men, Israel Vera, number 51. We'll have to wait and see the status of Kyle Hooper. Of course, sustained some rib injuries that have not healed, have not responded to treatment. If he does not play, then Ruben Ortega, number 62, who's done an outstanding job, will come in and take his place. The outside linebackers, the weak side, number 63, Danny Escobar, and number 85, John Richardson. The man in the middle, of course, Bruce Carrington, number 74. The Rover, Chris Davis, number 12. In the secondary, 23, Patrick Goodman at one halfback. Anthony Norman, number 83, at the other halfback. And the All-State 4A safety, number 30, Michael Welch. So there you have, Jeff, the starting offensive and defensive players for the Sweetwater Mustangs, and we're just seconds away from the start of this championship State 4A high school football game.
The captains are the Tomball Cougars this afternoon. Lance Pavlis, a quarterback. Bubba Greeley, number 22. Keith Hardwick, 44, and also Jim Tilley. Now then, the Tomball Cougars will be receiving the opening kickoff, and they will be defending the south goal here in the first quarter. The officials are being introduced at this point. Let's take a 30-second timeout. We'll be back in just a moment.
You know, when you call 236...
It's Houston Yates 9 and the Permian Panthers from Odessa nothing, and that is a halftime score, we understand.
I was watching a little bit of that on the monitors down in the working press, and Yates looks a little bit like the Chicago Bears. Bobby Atkins approaches the football. He squibs the ball down. It's going to be rolling around. It's going to be bounce up, and there's a scramble for it. Bubba Greeley has it at the 20, and he's going to be pulled down at about the 22, 23-yard line. Down around Bubba Greeley's ankles was John Richardson, hustling down from his specialty team position. There was a scramble for the ball between Bubba Greeley and, I believe, number 21, Clay Smith, and Bubba took it away from him and picked up about 2 yards. 1st and 10 for the Tomball Cougars. The Sweetwater Mustang defense pretty much intact like it has been. The only exception will be number 62, Ruben Ortega, starting in the place of injured Kyle Hooper. Pavlis has split backfield, sends a wingman in motion back to the left side, turns, hands the ball off to Bubba Greeley up the middle. Bubba picks it up across the 25 out to about the 27, 28-yard line. Just opened up and handed the ball off to Greeley. Good blocking up front. They kind of turned the Mustang defense out. It's going to pick up about 4 yards on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 6. Ball resting just outside the 28. Wide receiver comes wide to the left side. Now Bubba Greeley and Myers split in the backfield. Pavlis turns around, says something to Greeley. Comes down the line, fumbles the ball. It's loose on the ground. There's a scramble for it. Looks like the Mustangs have it.
Oh, goodness.
Pavlis came out too soon. He had the ball down around his ankles and could not come up with it. The Mustang defense poured in on him, knocked him away from the football, and fell on it. And if you're familiar with Amon Carter Stadium, there's pigeons lower than we are that have ice on their wings, so we cannot possibly tell you who came up with that fumble because there was a sea of white jerseys all over it. and the Mustangs have the ball 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line of the Tomball Cougars. Anthony Norman goes wide left side. Michael Welch wide right side. Hoover, the quarterback, comes down the line on the option play. He's going to get back to about the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Good alert defensive play by the Tomball defensive down men. Number 60, David Hudspeth, in along with Bubba Menville in on the tackle.
Number 88,
no gain on the play. Tom Hargrove comes out. Mark Redden goes in at fullback.
So, Charles, who would have expected the Sweetwater Mustangs, who have had their problems with fumbles? Tomball, on the other hand, hasn't really had much of a problem with it. The opening play, Tomball fumbles, or the second play, rather.
Norman to the left side. Here's Maurice Marshall up the middle. He gets back to the line of scrimmage. He's hammered at about the 25-yard line. He was rejected as he picked up about a yard on the carry. Monty Jones in on the stop along with Brad McIntyre, number 88, the linebacker. Hargrove back in the ball game. Maurice Marshall goes out. 3rd down and 9 yards to go for the Mustangs. Welch comes wide to the right side. Hoover to the left. Ball's handed off. Here's running room. Rufus Smith. He breaks it. He's down to about the 10-yard line. Beautiful blocking on the right side by Russo Creed, and also I believe it was Andre Walker. Rufus Smith turned on the power and put the ball down just outside the 10-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Sweetwater Mustangs. 9:56, the clock running. First quarter action. Power offense in the ball game. 2 tight ends. Ron Reed to the left. Here's Andre Walker. He's inside the 10, down to about the 5-yard line. Beautiful blocking on the left side. Ron Reed, Bruce Bennell, and Bud Aldridge just put Tomball on skates and drove the ball down to the 5-yard line. They're going to spot it in between the 5 and the 6.
Sweetwater's John Kilgore comes into the ball game and headed to the sideline. Looks like Bruce Bennell, number 75.
Lee Morris tight to the right side. Ron Reed tight left. Hoover, the quarterback, bows under. Here's Rufus Smith trying to go outside. He's going to be thrown for a loss on the play. Good penetration by number 21, Clay Smith, coming out of the secondary to support on the run. Smith saw the tight end block down. He came across quickly and was able to trip Rufus up. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 6 to go for the Mustangs.
9:02 on the clock. First quarter action if you're just joining us.
Hoover bows under. Quick pitch. Rufus Smith, left side, tries to cut back inside. Is going to be taken down at about the 8-yard line. Quick penetration that time by Don Berentez. Came across quickly, turned Rufus inside, and Rufus lost his footing. And in comes the kicking team for the Sweetwater Mustangs.
Smith is also shaking his left ankle at this point, but he's going off the field on his own power, however.
Atkins is going to be in trying a 25-yard attempt. The snap is back. The hold is good. The kick is up. Down the middle. So Sweetwater Mustangs go on top by a score of 3-0 over the Tomball Cougars, and we'll return for more Mustangs sports in 30 seconds.
Jolly's Carpets at 1107 East Broadway reminds you you'll find exceptional buys now just in time for Christmas on quality Evans Black carpeting in a vivid assortment of popular colors. There's Nordic, Vestal, and Selkirk wood-burning stoves and inserts, luxury carpeting, wood stoves and inserts, and vinyls by Tarkett. All make
a fumble recovery by the Mustangs. Atkins approaches the football. He squibs it again. It's going to be taken by one of the up men. He fumbles it around. He's picking it up, and he's going to be hit at about the 32-yard line and taken down immediately by number 43, Redden. Redden is a wild man on the kickoff teams anyway. He and Carrington get fired up. The ball carrier, Kevin Likens from Breckenridge, who had some very uncomplimentary things to say about the Mustangs, was baptized again that time. Instead of having the green and white on, he had the red and white, but he took the same shot. Slot to the left side, split backfield, wide receiver to the right side. Pavlis looks to pass. He's under pressure. Now he dumps it off. It's caught by Greeley. Greeley's going to be picked up about a yard on the play. Greeley came through the backfield and went out in the flat. He caught the ball over his shoulder, and Escobar was right on him and took him down after a gain of about a yard on the play.
Nope, short gain on the play.
Tried to break Greeley underneath and get the ball to him and let him go one-on-one. The only problem was Escobar was right in his hip pocket. Carl Johnson comes wide to the left side. Clay Smith wide to the right side. Split backfield. Pavlis, man under. Looks to throw the ball again. He's under pressure. He's going to be dropped back inside the 25. Ruben Ortega beat his block and was in on Pavlis before he could even get untracked. By the time he tried to square up, he was on his back on the turf here at TCU's Amon Carter Stadium. So Pavlis very dejected that time. He got up. He was really scolding his line. He says, folks, we've got media from all over the free world here, and you're going to let them dump me on my back.
Sweetwater Mustangs look fired up.
Smith goes in the slot to the right side. Split backfield. Pavlis dropping back to pass. Now he sprints out to the right. He's looking. He's under pressure. He's going to be forced to throw the ball. No, he steps out of bounds. Good coverage in the secondary by the Mustangs. He had number 21, Clay Smith, open right down the middle of the field, but only because Michael Welch had dropped off at the last moment when he saw Pavlis go out of bounds. So it's going to bring up 4th down and a bunch.
Mike Welch will be dropping back to the Sweetwater 30-yard line.
Now remember, Pavlis' average is about 50 yards a kick. This is not going to be one of them. Welch comes up. He lets it take a bounce. It takes a Tomball bounce, and now it goes inside the 30, and it's rolling down to inside the 25. And it's going to be killed eventually at about the 21-yard line.
So the Sweetwater Mustang offense takes to the field for the second time this afternoon. On their first possession, they took over deep in Tomball territory and were able to pick up a 25-yard field goal. 6:41 on the clock, first quarter action, the 4A state finals at Amon Carter Stadium in Fort Worth.
Anthony Norman goes wide left side. Michael Welch wide right side. Wishbone backfield. Second man through, breaks to the outside. Hargrove out to the 25.
Hargrove's going to pick up about 4 on that carry, and they'll spot the ball at the center of the field on about the 25.
Norman and Welch still drawing single coverage out wide. Maurice Marshall comes in. Redden goes out at fullback. Bobby Bogues, the center, out over the football quickly. Welch comes wide right side. Norman wide left. Wishbone backfield. Hoover the quarterback. Comes in, throws the ball in. Norman's got it. He's to the 40, the 45, to midfield and into Tomball territory.
That may be the last play that Anthony Norman is single covered.
He just raised up, threw a Pavlis-type pass right on the rope over to a streaking Norman across the middle. Norman picked up running room and put the ball in Tomball territory at the 48-yard line. 5:58, the clock running. Mustangs up 3-0. They have the ball in Tomball territory. Welch comes wide right side. Second man through Hargrove. He's going to be at the 45. Good blocking by Russo, Creed, and I believe Lee Morris.
So the Sweetwater Mustangs, though they self-destructed a little bit on their first possession, is having a pretty easy going of it, moving the ball against a Tomball defense that's been stingy all year long.
The offensive line beating him to the punch at this point in time. Wishbone backfield. Hoover dropping back to pass, no pressure, goes for all of it. Norman is back there. The ball is overthrown. A little bumping in the secondary as both youngsters tried to adjust to the football. The incompletion stops the ball stops the clock with 5:19 remaining. Number 86, Matt Hill going down in the secondary that time, along with Norman. Third down play, 7 to go. Mustangs, ball at the Tomball, 45-yard line. Twin receivers to the right side. Hoover's dropping back to pass. No pressure. Looks across the middle. Throws inside. Norman makes the catch at the 30-yard line at the 29.
It's something Anthony Norman has done all year long, and today is no exception.
They're just picking Tomball apart in the secondary because they're running good routes. And the Mustang offensive line is really giving Tomball what far up front. They have not put any kind of pressure on Hoover whatsoever. First and 10, Sweetwater Mustangs, 5:05, the clock running. 30-yard line, Tomball. Hoover bows under, comes down the line, gives the ball off to Maurice Marshall on the fullback. He falls forward for a couple of yards. Brad McIntyre, number 88, the linebacker, in with Menville and Jones.
Number 44, Keith Hardwick, and number 50 is Scooter McClinton.
Out comes Maurice Marshall, number 21.
Second and 8 from the 20.
In goes Redden, number 43. Welch comes wide to the right side. Norman goes wide to the left side. Hoover, the quarterback, bows under. Comes down the line on the option play. He's in the seam. He's to the 25, the 20, gets a block, and is down inside the 20 to about the 19, possibly the 18-yard line.
Hoover showed a little speed of his own on that particular play. Found the seam, and before Tomball could adjust 8 yards down the field, first down, the Mustangs continue to move.
They start the clock, 4:23 and running here in the first quarter action. State 4A championship game. Mustangs up 3-0, and they're moving the ball on the Tomball Cougars. Bogues out over the football. Welch goes wide right, Norman wide left. Comes down the line on the option play, gets a block. Hoover's to the 15, the 10, down inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line.
He almost makes it look easy, the senior quarterback from Sweetwater. He's knocked out on the far sideline. It looks like they'll spot the ball on about the 7.
Anthony Norman made a little extra yardage that time as he went down and got a good block downfield. Hoover was able to cut off that block and pick up a little extra yardage. First and goal to go for the Sweetwater Mustangs. Two tight end formation. Here comes the ball to the fullback. He's down to about the 5-yard line. I believe that's Maurice Marshall, number 21. Good blocking by Bogues and Rousseau.
21 on the carry.
So, second down and goal. The ball will be spotted on about the 5.5-yard line, maybe the 6.
In comes Rufus Smith with a play from W.T. Stapler and Jennings Steele. Out goes Tom Hargrove. Welch comes wide to the right side. He's going to be single covered by Clay Smith. Ball hand off to Rufus. Rufus breaks to the outside. He breaks the tackle, and he's going to go in the end zone for the score. Rufus Smith broke a tackle at the 5-yard line, sprinted in for the touchdown. So the Sweetwater Mustangs are up by a score of 9-0 with 3:29 remaining in the first quarter, and the extra point attempt to come. And you can look over on the Tomball side, and it's as if someone has taken plaster of Paris and sprayed the entire stadium. That looks like a statue factory graveyard over there. The kick is up right down the middle. So the score is Sweetwater 10 and the Tomball Cougars 0. And we'll return in 30 seconds for more Mustang Madness.
State Farm is there. When you want up-to-date...
Off to the awaiting Tomball Cougars. Sweetwater on top by a score of 10-0. 3:29 remaining in the first quarter.
Myers has the ball. He's up to 10 to the 15 to the 20, out to about the 25, 26-yard line. He spent most of the time from the 10 to about the 17 trying to get a handle on the ball. Atkins' kick squirted up off of the ground. He picked it up, lost it in between his legs, had to turn around and hunt for it. He scrambled around, slapping at it up for about 7 or 8 yards before he picked it up. Carl Johnson comes wide left side. Clay Smith wide right side, split backfield, Greeley and Myers. Greeley has the ball, and he's tripped up in the backfield on a good play by Petty coming in from his defensive end position. Greeley's going to pick up maybe a yard on the play. They're going to give him 2, looks like, from this vantage point.
Sweetwater Mustangs saying, turn me loose here in the early goings of the first quarter for a final action.
Trying to just block out and let Greeley dive right through the line and get into the secondary. Johnson comes wide to the left side, slot Smith to the right side, split backfield. Now the slot man comes in motion back to the left. Counter option play. Pavlis throws the ball back to Greeley. He gets a good block on the outside. He's up to about the 29-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds on a good play by Carrington, the middle linebacker. And Pavlis threw that ball quickly because he had white helmets in his face. You say white helmets. I thought the Mustangs were red, but the only problem was there's so many stars on Petty's helmet. It looks white.
From our vantage point and from the Pigeons' vantage point, they all look white.
So Greeley showed some speed that time, but he was going east and west rather than north and south. Smith comes wide left side, Johnson to the right side, split backfield. Pavlis looking to pass. He's under pressure. He's going to be forced out of the pocket. Now he's going to run. He's going to be hit. He breaks the tackle. He's up to about the 39-yard line. And he showed you why he's such a highly rated quarterback, because he had a chance to really be hammered at about the 34-yard line. He made a good 360 move and got away, and then took a good shot as he got to about the 39. But he kept the first down and kept the drive alive. 2:26, the clock running, 10-0 to score. Mustangs up. Johnson and Smith go twins to the right side. Split backfield, Myers and Greeley. Here's the ball handoff to Myers. He's going to pick up short yardage out across the 40 to about the 42.
Should be a pickup of about 3. That'll make it 2nd down and 7 for the Tomball Cougars. Time is running here in the first quarter. 2 minutes remaining.
10-0 the score. The Mustangs on top, which a lot of the sports writers in the Metroplex area would say surprisingly so, because 5 of the 7 that picked this morning picked the Tomball Cougars in a cakewalk. Split backfield, crisscross action in the backfield. Greeley's trying to get outside. He gets one block, but he's going to be knocked down at about the 45 by Escobar. They did a good job sealing off the inside, but they didn't seal off the backside, and he was run down from the backside. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 5 to go.
Again, you have to be happy holding Tomball to short yardage on the first couple of downs, because you can sag your secondary here on a passing situation. And with a quarterback like Pavlis, you need all the help back there you can get.
Split backs. Smith is in the slot to the right. Now he goes in motion back to the left. Crisscross looking to pass. Pavlis is going to be taken down. The ball is loose. They're going to say that he was down. He had the ball starting down and looked like it came out. Israel Vera, number 51, came in and got on him, and Pavlis having a tough time there. He was looking to throw a quick pass to a tight end across the middle, but he was covered. There was nothing to do but eat the ball because the Mustang defense had collapsed around him. Pavlis is standing at his own 30-yard line. Remember, he had a 53-yard average last week, and here's one that's a major college kick. Welch is going to take it at the 15, and he's going to be taken down on a beautiful open field tackle by number 20. 28, Doak Hardy, a super open field tackle, just wrapped him up both ankles and took him down. That was a big break for the Tomball Cougars, because there was a lot of sideline and a lot of grass, AstroTurf for Welch. That time, Pavlis' kick was way down past his coverage, except for Doak. Wishbone backfield. Hoover hands the ball to second man through. Andre Walker, he breaks it. He's out across the 20, out to about the 22. And had he have been able to get away from, let's pick up the number, that's Pavlis, number 12, playing on defense. Had he have not been able to, if Pavlis hadn't been able to get over there, it would have been a foot race to the end zone for Andre Walker. So the Mustang coaches have found something on the right defensive side. Now Pavlis goes out. Someone was slow coming back on defense or was injured. Now there's a whistle on the play before the ball was snapped. We'll have to wait and see. That's the end of the first quarter of play. The Sweetwater Mustangs up 10-0 over the Tomball Cougars, and we're campus of Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, Texas. The state finals in the 4A classification, the Sweetwater Mustangs against the Tomball Cougars, and the Mustangs own a 10-0 lead at the start of the second quarter of play. Officials have everything changed over. Mustangs have a second down and about the length of the football. Hoover's going to turn, hand the ball off to second man through. Andre Walker, same play, out to about the 29-yard line. More than enough for the first down. There's absolutely no one around Bobby Bogues, the center.
Sweetwater Mustang backs, they have had plenty of room to run the ball this afternoon. Again, Charles, good up-front blocking for Sweetwater.
The power offense in the ball game at this point. Two tight ends, Ron Reed tight left, Lee Morris to the right side. Movement in the Mustang backfield. Hargrove takes the ball over the right side, picks up a couple of yards, but everyone was on the move that time. Just a hair before the snap.
Flags on the play.
And I believe that is the first penalty of the ball game with 11:38 remaining in the first half, and the procedure call will go against the Sweetwater Mustangs.
So we're just starting the second quarter. If you're just joining us, again, Sweetwater on top of the Tomball Cougars by a score of 10-0. And they'll move the ball back to the 24-yard line in about the middle of the field. It was an illegal motion call against Sweetwater, so step it off. It'll be first down and 15 now.
Anthony Norman back in the ball game at wide receiver to the right side. Michael West to the left side. Hoover drops back to pass. No pressure. Got plenty of time. Goes across the middle. Welch is there. He has it at the 45, out to about the 46-yard line.
What a show Neil Hoover is putting on for fans this afternoon.
And for all you linemen out there, we're going to give you a great big gold star, because I promise you, your counterparts here in Amon Carter Stadium doing a super job. The Mustang offensive line just forming a cup and not letting anyone from Tomball anywhere close to Hoover. 1st and 10, Sweetwater Mustangs at the 46. Hoover back to pass again, no pressure, looking to go across the middle. He's there, in and out of the hands of Michael Welch. Good coverage underneath that time by the linebacker, number 44, who drifted back and was able to slap the ball away, Keith Hardwick. Smith had Welch deep, but Hardwick dropped back from his linebacking spot about 30 yards downfield and helped get the ball away from Welch. Welch had inside position plus a real advantage on Smith. The incompletion stops the clock with 11 minutes remaining in the first half. 2nd and 10. Hoover back to pass. Here's a draw play. He fakes the draw. Now here's a screen pass to Hargrove. Hargrove to midfield to the 45, the 40. Still on his feet, the 35, the 30. Takes on a couple of tacklers and down inside the 30, down to about the 26. Tom Hargrove would not go down. He busted heads with 2 of the Cougars at about the 35. Split them, went down, picked up 2 more, split them, and finally was taken down at about the 28-yard line. So the Sweetwater Mustangs offensive personnel doing a super job here in the first half of play. Norman comes wide left, Welch wide right. Second man through Hargrove. A lot of running room up the middle, down to about the 21 or 2 yard line. We'll have to wait and see. They're going to spot him down at about the 22. And I promise you, Tomball's defense thinks that they were snake bitten by a whole basket full of snakes because they haven't really come up with anything to slow down the Mustang offense so far in this first half. Coach Etheridge been shooting personnel in and out. Quick pass coming out to Norman. Norman's got it inside the 15, down to about the 12-yard line. Just raise up and rifle the ball, Neil Hoover, right to Anthony Norman, who had inside position on the defender, number 85, Don Berentez. But Berentez made the tackle, but not before Norman picked up a first down at about the 12, 13-yard line. So the Mustangs threatening. They're up 10-0 with 9:53 and the clock moving. Welch has single coverage. So does Norman. Here goes the running back inside the 10. Walker down to about the 6-yard line. Good block by Anthony Norman. Michael Taylor, number 11, out of the secondary to make the stop. Andre Walker found a real crease over the left side. Good blocking by Bill and Aldridge along with Norman, who took his man down and then set up and blocked him well. Mustangs threatening, 9:22, clock running, 10-0 to score. Hoover bows under, quick pass, thrown it to the end zone. Out of the end zone, no good. Intended on a timing route for number 83, Anthony Norman. Berentez was there, though, to defend, and the ball was thrown out of the back of the end zone. It's going to bring up third down and about 3 to go for the Mustangs.
That'll stop the clock with 9:14 here in the second quarter as the Sweetwater Mustangs break the huddle. Ball spotted on the 7.
Welch is wide to the left side. Here comes Hoover. He hands the ball off to Andre Walker. He's inside the 5. Looks like down to about the 4. It's going to be decision time here. It looks like it's going to be short of the first down from our vantage point.
Looks like it'll be about a yard short.
Ron Reed comes in. Michael Welch goes out. Both tight ends in the ball game.
So going for it early.
We're going to go for the throat just like W.T. Stapler said he wanted to do if he had a chance to. Ron Reed tight left. Morris to the right. Second man through Hargrove, and he's going to be hit short of the first down. Tomball is going to hold. Tomball defense has held on the isolation play to the right side. The defensive left bowed its neck and came up with a big play. There was a running room there, but all of a sudden it collapsed, and Tomball is 95 yards away. 8:37 remaining in the first half. 10-0 to score. The Mustangs had a chance to put a little more breathing room between them and the Tomball Cougars. Lance Pavlis brings this team to the line of scrimmage. They have the ball at the 5, I backfield. Myers shifts out to the left side. Bubba Greeley has the ball. He breaks it outside. He's going to pick up about 1, maybe 2 on the play. Going to be stopped by Israel Vera, number 51.
Vera having a good afternoon today, Charles, along with the rest of the Mustang defensive line, who again has put the pressure on Pavlis when they've needed to, and the secondary has covered the receivers like a blanket.
That's exactly right. They put tremendous pressure on Pavlis, as a matter of fact, and Greeley, I don't know how many yards he has, David, but he's picked up 12 yards in this ball game. Smith comes in motion back to the right side. Here's a quick pitch back to Greeley in the backfield, and he gets trapped about 3 yards deep and breaks it and comes back out and is going to pick up maybe 1, maybe 2 yards on the play.
Number 23 and 85, John Richardson.
Richardson in on the stop along with Goodman out of the secondary. He's got 1 yard on the play. 7:45 remaining in the first half.
How can the PA man see the spots much better than we can, Charles?
Well, they've got several folks with some high-powered binoculars over there. Pavlis in the ball game has the veer formation, split backs, twin receivers to the right side. Sprints out to the right side. He's under pressure. Carrington's got him for a safety. They're going to call face mask. They're going to call face mask on Carrington. Pavlis was sucked up by Carrington as he was dropping back to pass. Carrington was right in his face, and the official threw a flag right in the pile.
There are flags on the play.
You really can't blame Carrington because it's about the only thing he had to reach for, and I'm afraid if Bruce would have missed him, Pavlis would have had some pretty good running room.
They're going to step off a big one.
Oh, this wasn't inadvertent. This was intentional.
Well, let's just move right along.
Face mask penalty called against the Mustangs.
So, Tomball dodges a big bullet here midway through the second quarter here at Amon Carter Stadium in Fort Worth.
Johnson goes to the left side, Smith to the right side, split backfield. Pavlis, the quarterback, looks to pass. He throws the ball. It's in and out of the hands, incomplete of the wide receiver. Intended for Johnson, Carl Johnson, and he coughed up the football. Stops the clock with 7:03 remaining, 10-0 to score. The Mustangs on top of the Tomball Cougars.
So, Charles, it's been exciting so far. The Sweetwater Mustangs have come out smoking. The Tomball Cougars, on the other hand, appear to be a little flat.
Well, you don't know how flat they are or how much...
or Sweetwater's just taking it away.
How much air the Mustangs have taken out of them. That's true. Split backfield. Myers goes in motion to the right side. Pavlis drops back, going to hand the ball off to Greeley on a draw. Greeley gets away from one man. He's in the secondary now. Then he's going to be taken down. He picked up about 3-4 yards on the play, and he was really hammered by Patrick Goodman, who came up out of the secondary. Whenever they run the draw, they sprint out, and Bubba squats like he's going to block, and he holds his arms up. And Pavlis brings the ball around his body, around Bubba Greeley's body, and puts it in, and he takes off. But the Mustangs evidently had seen that because they came on him like a herd. It's going to bring up third down and about 7 to go for the Cougars. Have a wide receiver to the left side. Johnson. Smith is in the slot to the right side. Coming down to pass. There's pressure from the backside, and Pavlis is going to be pulled down from the backside by John Riggs. No one picked up Riggs. Pavlis took his time, blew a little dust out from under his fingernails and was waiting for his receivers to clear, but they couldn't, and all of a sudden, John Riggs took him down, and the first thing that hit was his face mask on the turf here at Amon Carter Stadium.
So that'll send Welch back to the Sweetwater 35, getting ready for the Pavlis punt.
Snap is back. It's a good one. Pavlis put all he had into it, drives Welch back at the 30. Welch has got it, trying to get to the outside. He gets a block. He's to the 25, and it's going to go out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
He's taken out of bounds.
So that stops the clock with 5:42 here in Final 4A football action at Amon Carter Stadium here this afternoon. You're listening to 1240 KXOX from Sweetwater and KVKM 1330 on the AM dial in Monahans, Texas. Great having y'all folks listening in with us this afternoon.
Ball spotted just inside the Mustang 25-yard line. Hoover, the quarterback, sends Norman to the left side. Welch wide right side. Hands the ball off to the second man through. Hargrove finds some running room, breaks it out across the 30 out to the 31. And had Tom been able to pick his feet up, he would have had a collision with number 11 for the Tomball Cougars, Michael Taylor, about 15 yards deep. And then we might have had a foot race.
The Mustang offensive line has done a blue chipper performance this afternoon. They've given the Mustang backs lots of running room.
Right back again. Here's the same play again. Andre Walker breaks it to the outside. He's to the 35 and out to the 40-yard line. And the Mustangs have just owned the Tomball defense, left side, right side, all around the town. They've been able to do pretty much what they wanted to, except when they got down close once just previous on the last possession. Tomball came up with their biggest defensive play thus far today on a 4th down try. Here's Norman to the left side. Here's Hargrove again. He breaks one tackle, spins out, and is out at about the 45-yard line.
So let's see where they spot it. If they give him his second momentum,
they're going
which
to give
they're going
it to him.
to.
He hit and spun out and picked up extra running room.
Number 72.
Great job by the offensive line. Bennell, Aldridge, Bogues, Russo, Creed. Welch goes wide to the right side. Norman wide left. Here comes Hoover back to pass. He's looking to go for it. There's Norman. He makes the catch up at about the 33-yard line, right in front of Don Barrentez. And I promise you, Anthony Norman needs a younger sister because Don would love to start dating her here in the first half.
Oh, goodness. It was close. It was thrown to the near sideline on about the 33 where Norman stepped out, and it was close. There is an injured Tomball Cougar player on the 38-yard line of the Sweetwater Mustangs. We're going to take a 30-second timeout, and we'll return to Amon Carter Stadium here in just a moment.
Oh! Anthony Norman just had a chance for another catch of the century there. He had beaten his man down the middle on the post route. The ball was right there, just off his fingertips, trickled incomplete.
Neil Hoover, the quarterback for Sweetwater on the day, is now 6 for 10 for 119 yards.
Norman had whipped Barrentez badly that time. The ball was right there, just off the fingertips. Lee Morris comes in at wide receiver to give Norman a rest. Welch is to the right side. 2nd down, 10 to go. Here's a draw play to Maurice Marshall. Maurice stumbles as he starts off, and he's going to fall down. It's going to bring up 3rd down. Monty Jones made the stop that time. Bubba Menville, number 75, was the youngster shaking up for Tomball. He's over being administered to over on the sidelines. He came off under his own steam. 3rd down, 10 yards to go for the Mustangs. Norman back in. Welch will go to the left side. Norman to the right side. Andre Walker will go out with Anthony Norman. Here's Hoover. No pressure. Lots of time across the middle to Welch. In and out of the hands of Pavlis, who had come across from the free safety. It's going to bring up 4th down and 10 to go. The ball is going to be spotted still at the 32-yard line of the Tomball Cougars. Decision time now. We're going to take a timeout. So the Mustangs are going to take time out, and we'll return in 30 seconds where the Mustangs are up by a score of 10-0. Defensive team over to have their little discussion. Tomball, on the other hand, Coach Etheridge has his youngsters over on the sidelines. Now we're back out ready to go. Mustangs elect to go for it on 4th down and 10. Norman wide left side. Dropping back to passes. Hoover got plenty of time. Going for it again. There's Anthony Norman. Incomplete. Just too much that time. Triple coverage over on the far side. 2 linebackers and the 2 secondary men on Welch and Andre. Single coverage with a little bit of help from the defensive end on Anthony Norman, but the pass was just too strong and incomplete. So the second time the Mustangs have been down in Tomball territory and came up without any points, and the Cougars have the ball at their own 32-yard line. Carl Johnson comes wide to the right side. Here's the ball, hand off the middle to Myers. Myers breaks it across the 35 out to about the 39-yard line, and he was a step away from a foot race between he and Anthony Norman. Shoestring tackle that time by Israel Vera, and Israel Vera, if he hadn't lettered prior to today, would probably get his jacket anyway with his play thus far in the first half. Number 21, Clay Smith, goes wide to the left side. Carl Johnson wide to the right side. Ball's hand off to Myers again up the middle. Carrington has him sacked up at about the 45, but not before he picks up the 1st down. So during the timeout, evidently Coach Etheridge and his line coach did a little soul searching over there and fired the offensive line up a little bit, because that's the first time in those two successive plays that they have moved off of the football. The rest of the time, the Sweetwater Mustangs have been chilling them in their tracks.
The clock is moving, 2:54 right now. Second quarter action, 10-0, Sweetwater on top of Tomball.
Clay Smith, number 21, wide right side. Johnson wide left. High backfield. Here's the quick pitch back to Greeley. The ball's on the ground. There's a scramble for it. Bubba picks it up. He's all the way back down inside the 30-yard line. He's going to be taken down at about the 28-yard line.
Oh, when it rains, it pours, and Tomball.
Pavlis came out on the counter option quickly, pitched the ball back to Bubba, hit Bubba in the hands. It went backward, and he raced for it. He took a AstroTurf bounce right back up in his hands, but he also had a whole herd of Mustangs chasing after him, and he ran out of bounds at about the 30-yard line, so it's going to bring up second down and about 25 to go, 26 to go. Sweetwater Mustang defense really doing a number here. Smith is in the slot to the right side. Here comes Pavlis down the line. He pitches the ball back to Greeley. Greeley tries to get outside. He does turn the corner. Carrington gets to him to pull him down, along with number 83 out of the backfield, Anthony Norman. But the rover, Chris Davis, number 12, is the one that made Bubba turn back inside and gave everyone a chance to pursue. So short gain that time. He picked up 6. Third down and 20 to go for the Cougars. I'm sure that play is used to working for 60 or 70 yards in just a few seconds. So it's starting to kind of show a little bit on the faces of the Tomball Cougars that they want something positive to happen. Pavlis bows under, veer formation, sprints out to the right side. Mustangs putting the pressure on him. He goes for all of it. There's a receiver streaking downfield. There's a flag down, way downfield. We'll have to wait and see what the call is, but the receiver was wide open.
The flag was not near the intended receiver. It was thrown about halfway from where the ball landed. The flag resting on the Tomball 48. It was in the defensive secondary, however, where the flag was thrown. The discussion going on with the Sweetwater Mustang captains.
Holding against the Mustangs is going to be the call. They're going to move the ball back. Pavlis really let that ball go. The only problem was he overthrew his receiver, but the good thing about it was there was holding on the part of the Mustangs.
So that'll get them back up to the original line of scrimmage. Nope, it'll still be about 3 yards. There we go. That's what I thought. It'll be spotted on the original line of scrimmage. That would be the Tomball 45-yard line as they move from north to south here in the second quarter.
There's a minute 13 left in the ball in the first half. The Mustangs up by a score of 10-0. And Tomball says, hey, something's sure not right, so let's take a timeout. So KXOX will return in just a minute with more Mustang madness. The Mustangs up by a score of 10-0, and we'll return in 30 sidelines. He's drawn up what he wants them to do on this third down play. Stapler's made a defensive change. He's sent in number 33, Darrell Rather, the sophomore linebacker. In times past, when you see that, Escobar came back in. Going to have to wait and see what happens here. Third down, 10 to go. Pavlis, the quarterback, drops back to pass. Mustangs pressure from the backside. Escobar hits him. The ball is loose. There's a scramble for it. It's going to be recovered, but Danny Escobar ran a 100-yard dash through Lance Pavlis' body, and the ball squirted loose, and it was recovered by the Tomball Cougars, but it back at about the 35-yard line. So any hopes they had all of a sudden changed as Pavlis really took a shot. The ball squirted out.
Number 63, Danny Escobar.
Welch is standing at about his own 26-yard line. Pavlis is standing inside his own 20. The snap is back. It's low. He takes it on the first hop. Pitiful kick off the side of his foot, taken by who is that, Andre Walker? Andre Walker
who reluctantly called fair catch.
He had 52 yards of nothing but AstroTurf had he elected to run with it, but he took it in 4-down territory with 28 seconds to go on the clock. The Mustang offense comes back out on the playing field. And I promise you, when Andre sees that in the film, he'll say, if I'd have ran that in, it would have been 6.
I'd have made the front page of the Dallas Morning News.
He certainly would, because the Tomball trainer was the only one between he and the goal line. Anthony Norman wide left, Welch wide right. Hoover, the quarterback, drops back to pass. Plenty of time. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. He's going to be trapped.
So that's the first Hoover sack of the afternoon.
That's right. Tomball comes in like that was the last play of the All-World Tournament there as they got to him for the first time. Of course, that is quite an accomplishment because they really had a difficult time getting to him. 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. The clock's going to run out. Sweetwater Mustangs elect to go to the dressing room up 10-0 in the first half of play. So KXOX 1240 Sports will return for the halftime and all the halftime show in just a moment. Sweetwater Mustangs 10, the Tomball Cougars.
Ideas as Berlin, and a tune with a very similar title, which was a big hit in 1985. The Mustang Band would like to close our show today by featuring trombonist Philip Hawley and Kelly English to the music of God Bless the USA. Assistant directors are David Waldo and Melanie Shaner. 1985 announcer for the Mustang Band has been Greg Workman.
Evan Carter Stadium will continue in just a moment, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Today's game is being brought to you by the First National Bank, the Hillcrest Shopping Center area, Carroll Buick Cadillac, Smitty's Drug, Jolly's Carpets, State Farm Insurance, Southwest Savings, Sears, Cox Jewelry, McDormand Furniture and Appliance, Wilson Sales, Triple M Machine, Coca-Cola, and Scott Fuel Incorporated. Now let's go back to the stadium for more action.
Welcome back, Mustang fans, and we're ready for the start of the second half kickoff. The Mustangs up 10-0 at halftime. State finals, Amon Carter Stadium on the campus of Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, Texas. The Sweetwater Mustangs will receive. Bubba Greeley out trying to fire the crowd up. He's just circling his old hands. He's wanting to get something going. Not quite as exciting as the scouts say, but we'll have to wait and see as we're ready. Here's the approach. There's an onside kick. It's going to be taken down out of bounds at about the 41-yard line by Tom Hargrove. Mustangs will have the ball to 21. Hargrove fielded it in fair territory. Of course, Stapler might want to kick that thing over, but he doesn't have that option that time. Hargrove may have thought he was out of bounds when he fielded the ball, but it makes no difference. Mustangs will have it 1st and 10 at their own 21-yard line. Mustangs out quickly. Welch goes wide to the right side of the field. Norman wide left. Hoover comes down. Here's Hargrove up the middle. He breaks it to the 30. Runs over one at the 35, out to about the 36, 37-yard line.
So the Mustang offense takes off where it left off in the first half. Good run by Tom Hargrove.
I checked that. I believe, was that red?
Beg your pardon.
Looked like 43. Norman comes wide left, Welch wide right, wishbone backfield. Marshall in at fullback. Second man through. Andre Walker is chilled as he gets to about the 41-yard line, 42-yard line. Brad McIntyre, the middle linebacker, did a good job standing him up that time. He got him right in the shoulders and just straightened him up. It's going to be a gain of about 2 on the play. 11:21 in the third quarter. Mustangs up 10-0, trying to move the ball here against the Tomball Cougars. Ball's handed off to Redden. Redden gets to about the 40-yard line, just outside the 40. Cougar defense stiffening a little bit, tackle to tackle that time. Monty Jones and Hudspeth that time kind of slowed things down. McIntyre and Hardwick came in to help stack it up. Brings up third down and about 8 to go for the Mustangs. Ball at their own 40-yard line. Hoover comes down the line. No pressure by Tomball. He's airing it out to Welch. The ball is overthrown. Michael Welch had double coverage. He had Pavlis and number 21, Clay Smith, with him, but the ball was overthrown. So we'll see Lee Morris in the ball game for the first time. Tomball fired up. The defense getting a hand. That's the first time today the crowd's even acknowledged that they were on the playing field. Lee Morris going to have to be ready because Tomball should be coming. They're going to try and set it up. He kicked the ball right to ball carrier. He's got some running room. He's having to give some ground. Redden is chasing him. He bumps him out. Now he's going to be taken out at about the 30-yard line. Donald Berentez, the defensive back, was the youngster that had to get away from Warren Creed. Creed had him in his sights and was trying to gun him down at about the 25. He was able to get away from Creed, but he had to give ground and get away from Redden coming down. Finally, he was ushered out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Lance Pavlis back, not very impressive in the first half, but don't go away. There's a lot of football left. Pavlis brings his team to the line of scrimmage. Robert Rayner, the center, out over the football. Twin receivers to the right side, wide receiver left side. Pavlis turns, hands the ball off to Myers up the middle, short yardage over the right side. Looks like Israel Vera taking up where he left off. He made the stop on the play. Myers hits the hole extremely quick. They may be having to use Bubba for a decoy here. Going to bring up Second down and about 6 to go for the Cougars.
2nd and 6.
Now then we see number 85.
That'd be Barentes once again.
Barentes coming wide to the right side. Pavlis coming out looking to throw. Throws underneath on the run. Greeley has the ball, and he's going to be out at about the 48-yard line. By far the biggest pickup of the day for Bubba Greeley and for the Tomball Cougar offense. Carrington, the linebacker, having to cover Greeley out of the backfield, picked him up that time, but not before he made the reception.
The clock is moving, 9:46 here, third quarter action in the 4A finals from Amon Carter Stadium. Ball will be resting on the Tomball 48-yard line.
Barentes wide to the left side. Smith in the slot to the right. Looking to throw is Pavlis. Goes down the middle. In and out of the hands. What a hit. Michael Welch comes and really hammers the would-be receiver. Youngster getting up rather slowly, number 85, Donald Barentes, and he really took a all-state hit right in the chops that time from Michael Welch. There is also Myers shaking up down on the playing field, one of the good running backs for the Cougars. So there's a timeout on the field, and we'll return for more Mustang football in 30 seconds.
Okay, Mustang fans, we're all too excited.
A sudden stop when he came in the middle of the field on the dive, and then maybe a little cramp. Second down 10, Pavlis, the quarterback, sends number 35, Kevin Likens, to the left side. Come down the line on the option play, the quick pitch back to Bubba. Bubba's got some running room. He breaks it. Bubba Greeley's going to score. Bubba Greeley's going to step in from about the 35-yard line. Likens did a good job blocking out wide. Now then, Bubba's going to start his little circle him up down in the end zone. So he lit the scoreboard up quickly that time. It was a matter of time until he turned on the power, and he was able to that time. Likens did a good job blocking outside to give him that one step that he needed to put it in the end zone. So it's 10-6 with a point-after attempt to come.
Again, so we finally see the running back that we've read about all season long. He really turned on the juice once he got into the open field area.
Well, the other thing he's done is he's turned on the crowd. They finally woke up and realized that it was Saturday afternoon. So a lot of football left. The snap is back, the hold is down, the kick is up. 10-7 the score. Sweetwater Mustangs up by 3 with 9:13 remaining, and we'll be back for more state.
Fueler service, a golf cart makes it easily available. Just
Really has got this crowd fired up. This is the first time since they got off the charter buses that they have really gotten into it. Carrington has the ball. He's at 35 and out to the 40-yard line, and he's going to be down at that point. So the Mustangs picked up about 20 yards over their last possession. They have the ball up in 4-down territory, and it comes at a good time with 9:09 remaining in the third quarter, and they have a 3-point lead, 10-7 over the number 1 ranked Tomball Cougars. So the score couldn't do anything but fire up the defense. Let's see if it does. Looking to throw the ball out to Norman. Norman breaks to the 40. He's out to about the 46-yard line of the Tomball Cougars. So the quick hitch pass from Hoover to Norman works good again, right in front of number 85, Don Barentes, and Norman has owned him most of the afternoon. 1st and 10, Sweetwater Mustangs in Tomball territory. Hoover comes down the line on the option, pitches the ball back to Andre Walker. He tries to get away. He's down at about the 45. Good defensive play by, I believe that's number 50 for the Tomball Cougars. Scooter McClinton, a junior reserve lineman in the ball game, did a good job that time defensively. Pickup of about a yard on the play. Second down, long 9 to go, 8:32, clock running. Third quarter action, Mustangs up 10-7. Norman comes wide left, Welch wide right. Hoover the quarterback, wishbone backfield. Comes, throws the ball out quickly to Welch. Welch makes a catch. He takes a shot at about the 39-yard line.
Still good pickup of about 6 on that connection from Hoover to Welch.
Clay Smith coming up to make the stop that time, but that's really the only thing he's done anything to write home about against Michael Welch here in the ball game. It's going to bring up third down in about 3. You hear on the far side Tomball yelling defense for the first time today. Come down loud on the option play. Hoover's got the running room. He's in the secondary to the 30 to the 26-yard line.
Oh, what a read by the senior quarterback from Sweetwater.
And had Michael Welch been able to make a block over on the far sidelines, Neil Hoover could have possibly gone the length of the field for the score. but it is a first down. Keep the drive alive. Ball is going to be spotted at the 27 of the Tomball Cougars. Mustangs break the huddle quickly. Bogues out over the football. Welch to the right side. Norman to the left side. Ball handed off up the middle. Not much going up there. Stacked up real good on the right side. Monty Jones and Tilley in on the stop, along with Scooter McClinton, number 50.
So the Tomball Cougar defense has certainly stiffened up the middle, but as far as the passing attack of the Sweetwater Mustangs, they really haven't been able to stop it, and Sweetwater's had the corner on a couple of occasions.
Ball's handed off up the middle of Maurice Marshall. He breaks it into the secondary and is going to be down at about the 21-yard line. Maurice, had he been able to get away from Jim Tilley, he would have had a lot of running room. Bubba Menville has to run him down from his middle guard position. It's going to bring up third down and about 5 to go for the Mustangs. Welch goes wide to the right side, right in front of the Tomball fans. Norman to the left side, right on the hash mark. Here's Hoover coming around the option. He cuts back inside. He's going to get back to about the line of scrimmage. The man that made that goal that time was number 89, Tilley, who would not let him turn upfield. Going to bring up fourth down and about 6 to go for the Mustangs.
So the Tomball defense is showing they've done a little homework. But again, the Sweetwater from the 20 to 20 has really had no problem moving the ball. But boy, it's been tough scoring the points here this afternoon.
Certainly has. Double coverage on Welch and double coverage on Norman. Hoover's coming back. He's going to throw the ball. It's intercepted. Here's 6 points. Unless he can get cut back inside. Number 85 intercepts the ball at about the 15, and he runs it back out to about the 37, 38-yard line.
Just about everybody in the stadium could see that coming. Thank goodness Hargrove made the tackle.
Don Berentez was the man that made the interception. I'm sure whenever they look at the film of that one, they will just as soon to have not thrown that pass.
No, with both receivers double covered like that, that's a hard play to connect on.
So Tomball has the ball, and they have a little momentum, even though the Mustangs were able to drive the ball down. They have the ball right now. Bubba Greeley will go wide to the left side. Number 21, Smith, is to the right. They're going to hand the ball off up the middle of Myers. He's going to find some running room. He's going to pick up about 4 yards up the middle.
Tomball offensive line looks like they're moving off of it a lot better than they were in the first half.
They're coming off the ball as quickly as the Mustangs did in the first half and as they did on that particular drive. But like you said, when he gets down close to the 20, things toughen up a bunch. Number 73, Kyle Hooper, in the ball game here in the second half. Berentez comes to the right side along with number 21, Clay Smith. Greeley is to the left side. Pavlis hands the ball off to Myers. Myers is hammered as he gets to about the 45.
And guess who makes the tackle there? Kyle Hooper.
Hooper flattened down the line whenever his lineman pulled out and was able to come in and really put the hit on Myers. Vera is going to be credited with the tackle also. So the two tackles made a sandwich that time. It's going to bring up third down and short 2 to go for the Cougars. Bubba Greeley is going to go wide to the left side. He's trying to call a timeout. No one will hear him. Now they have a timeout call. So KXOX 1240 Sports will return in 30 seconds and come back later and save on the third down play. Berentez and Smith come wide to the right. Number 35, Kevin Likens, goes wide to the left side. Pavlis is in the backfield. There's a pitch back to Bubba Greeley. Greeley trying to go outside. He's going to be hit at about midfield. He's going to pick up the first down. Ball is still going to be in Tomball territory at their own 49, but he picks up the first down.
He's tackled by number 23, Patrick Goodman.
One of the most dangerous things you could do with a super speedster is to give him the ball and a lot of room to make up his mind where he's wanting to go, and that's what Coach Etheridge has elected to do here in the third quarter, is just dump the ball to Greeley and let him do his thing. Berentez comes out wide to the right side. Smith is in a slot to the left side. Here comes Pavlis looking to throw. Throws the ball down. In and out of the hands of Berentez. Incomplete. Stops the clock with 4:34 remaining.
Rover Chris Davis there on the coverage.
Turned Berentez completely around that time, and the ball was incomplete.
So 4:34, time is stopped here in the third quarter as the Mustang defense gets ready to dig in for a big stand. Ball spotted on the Tomball 49.5-yard line.
It's a big series for the Mustang defense. Twin receivers come out wide to the right side. Bubba Greeley wide left. Lone running back Myers. Here's a draw play to Myers. Myers is going to be hammered in the backfield.
That play didn't fool anyone.
Well, you can see that coming because they both make a pocket. They don't do that good a job at looking like they're blocking. They're making a pocket for the ball. Riggs came in on him that time and really hammered him, and Myers loses. It's going to bring up third down and about 13 to go.
Third and 13.
I imagine Etheridge is going to say, hey, even I knew it was going to be a draw the way you lined up, so maybe we'll get a little better actor in there the next time. We have Greeley and Likens in the backfield for the first time. Pavlis comes down the line, sprints out, looks to pass, floats it over, and Greeley tries to go up and one-handed. And Pavlis, to be perfectly honest with you, threw that ball poorly because he set his running back up for a trip to the hospital. And I'm sure that that was probably going through Bubba's mind as he said, I'd hate for it to all end here, and he let that one go.
So that stops the clock with 3:52 remaining in the third quarter. Pavlis steps back to punt it away on the Tomball 32.
Gets a good snap, gets a good kick. Welch is going to field it, fair catch it. He fumbles the football, and Tomball has it at the 15.
Oh, goodness.
Michael Welch tried to fair catch the ball. He was not in position to make the catch. Instead of letting it go into the end zone or maybe even let it be killed, he elects to try and field it, and it squirts loose, and Tomball has the ball first and 10 at the 15 of the Sweetwater Mustangs.
You know that's going to do nothing but fire Mike Welch up, but a costly mistake when you get into a championship game such as this nature.
That's exactly right, because now then everything was Mustangs in the first half, and everything so far has been Tomball in the second half, and the second half is the one that's most important. Smith is wide to the right side. Here comes Pavlis. He's looking to throw. He's going to be hammered at about the 21-yard line. He was waiting for Smith to clear. Smith couldn't clear, and all of a sudden Kyle Hooper comes in along with number 50, Petty, and they hammer him down at about the 20-yard line. Going to bring up second down and about 16 to go for the Cougars.
So the Sweetwater Mustangs need to put together 3 more big defensive plays like that one.
Bubba Greeley goes out. Likens is in for him. Remember, he's a youngster that played in Breckenridge last year. Wide receiver to the left side. Likens and Myers in the backfield. Pavlis, the quarterback. There's movement in the backfield, and Myers is going. There's not anything. Now they're going to finally call a play. Myers made a move. He came out of his stance. The official that should make the call was standing there. Fat, Dumb, and Happy said absolutely nothing. One of the officials says, hey, Chief. The guy picked his hand up. Once the back sets, he can't do that when he moves toward the line of scrimmage.
Mustang.
This is going to be interesting because if they say an inverted flag here, there's going to be a hoot from this sideline you will not believe. They're having a major conference on what should be a routine illegal procedure call. An inverted flag is going to be the call, and I'll promise you that's a well-deserved boo there. The back got in his stance, and he stepped up, made a move, and then started back in his stance and then stood up. He did not move away from the line of scrimmage like he was in motion. He made his move directly toward the line of scrimmage. Inadvertent flag is the call. Second down, 15 yards to go. Pavlis, the quarterback, looks to throw, goes to the end zone. There's no one there. Anthony Norman shut his receiver off at the line of scrimmage. Bubba Greeley could not get away from Anthony Norman. Anthony Norman cooled him.
Houston Yates is leading Odessa Permian 37-0.
Goodness gracious. Permian has been snake bitten.
I think they were
37 to nothing.
I think maybe crushed by a python. I don't think that's just a snake bite. Smith comes out wide to the right side. Greeley is wide to the left. Pavlis comes down the line. He's throwing for Bubba. Bubba doesn't get it, but he does take a shot. And Bubba is down. He'll get up, but he did pay the price. That was old ratty-tat-tat. The 3 big ones just hammered old Bubba, and Bubba is still not real sure that that was the best play to call.
No, you never see that on the chalkboard when they're designing those plays.
That was Goodman. Who was all that? Goodman and
Carrington
and Davis. Triple-decker sandwich. Here's a field goal attempt from the 27-yard line, 37 yards out. The puck is kicked the kick is blocked by Welch. It's picked up by Carrington. Carrington is bringing it down the field, and he fumbles the ball out of bounds at the 45. So the Sweetwater Mustangs have dodged a bullet and have put the ball in 4-down territory at their own 45-yard line. The block was made by Michael Welch, who gave up the ball on the muffed punt. And now then Carrington picks up the block and advances it out to the 44-yard line in Mustang territory. So the Mustang defense has come through with a big play. Michael Welch partially redeeming himself, I'm sure, in his own mind. We've seen him do that so many times this season. Tomball having a hard time getting enough folks out on the field. Wishbone backfield, Norman wide left, Welch wide right. Hoover, second man through. Hargrove, he finds some running room. Take it away at the last second. We'll have to wait and see. That should be number 89, Jim Tilley, coming in from his defensive end position. Hargrove had a lot of daylight had he have been able to get by Tilley, but Tilley did a super job of sloughing his block and picking it up.
Oh, but it's just the kind of break the Mustangs need to get things clicking again.
Santa's up here helping us. Here's Maurice Marshall. He finds some running room, and then all of a sudden he's rejected by Keith Hardwick.
He should pick up a couple if they give him his forward progress.
They'll give him all the way up to about the 48-yard line.
Pickup of about 1, maybe 2 yards on that.
Going to bring up third down and a long 6 to go for the Mustangs.
1:38 on the clock. Time is moving. If you're just joining us, it's Sweetwater 10, Tomball 7.
They've doubled both wide outs. Here comes Hoover on the option play. He's going to turn upfield. He's hit at about the 49.
So Sweetwater offense is going to be about 3 yards short of the yardage needed for the first down. So that'll send Lee Morris back to punt.
Don't be at all surprised if Tomball doesn't try to. It depends on whether or not Bubba goes back. Of course, number 85, Don Berentez, has been the one returning the kicks. He's the one that's going to drop back single safety at about the 20-yard line. He's dropping on back into about the 18. They may try to come get one. Snap is back. The punt is good. He kicks it away from him. He's going to field it at about the, he's going to call a fair catch at about the 12 or 13-yard line. So Tomball offense comes back out on the playing field. They've got their work cut out as the defense should be fired up as they picked up tremendous yardage on that play, because remember the last time Tomball had the ball, it was at the 15. They came away dry. So 10-7 the score. Mustangs on top with 51 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play. Lance Pavlis, not just real impressive stats here.
Championship game is Houston Yates 37, Odessa Permian 0.
So Tomball fans happy with that score, needless to say.
Carl Johnson comes wide to the right side, tight end left side, Tilley. Here comes Pavlis trying to run the option. He's going to be hammered in the backfield, thrown for a loss. Good penetration over there by, I believe,
Durrell Rather.
Durrell Rather coming in from his strong linebacker spot.
And also a little help from number 61, John Riggs.
We've seen that happen quite a bit this year, so that's not such an unusual thing.
Pavlis now 8 for -19 on the afternoon. 26 seconds, the clock is running. The ball spotted on the Tomball 9-yard line.
Now would be a great time for a Cougar turnover. We wouldn't want to jinx them. Berentez comes out wide to the right side. Pavlis sends Smith in motion back to the right. Coming back to throw the ball. Intercepted! The ball is intercepted by Chris Davis at the 15-yard line.
Charles, your jinx worked.
Okay.
The jinx worked. Sweetwater takes over on the 14-yard line of the Tomball Cougars. The Mustang offense has to get points.
That must be the old coach in me. I'm sorry. A tremendous interception on the part of number 12, Chris Davis. He sliced inside. Pavlis never made any allowances for the rover. Mustangs have the ball in great field position. 6 seconds left. 2 tight ends in the ball game. Come down the line and hand it off to the fullback. Short yardage up to about, looks like about the 12, maybe the 13. And that is the third quarter of play. There's 12 minutes left in the 4A football championships. And we'll return where the Mustangs lead by a score of 10-7 in 30 seconds. They have second down and 9 to go. The ball at the 13 of the Tomball Cougars. Chris Davis, the rover, intercepted the pass from Pavlis. Welch is to the right side. Norman wide left side. Wishbone backfield. Hoover the quarterback. Comes down the line, looks to pass. Goes across the middle to Welch. Welch gets it off the ground on the first hop. Pavlis made a diving try for it at about the 1-yard line. The incompletion stops the clock with 11:55 remaining. Third down, long 9 to go for the Mustangs.
So once again, the Mustangs have had no problems moving the ball from 20 to 20, but it is sure stiffened up.
Norman comes wide to the left side. He draws single coverage by Don Barrentez. Double coverage, they sloughed off now, single coverage. They're throwing the ball for Norman. Norman cuts inside. The ball is caught. The ball is caught by Hargrove out of the backfield for a touchdown. The Mustangs flooded the zone. They did not pick Hargrove up out of the backfield. And Hargrove makes the catch in the back of the end zone for the score. Anthony Norman was just dropping back, going to the back flag to the retainer of the back of the end zone, and his defensive man went with him. The linebacker, Keith Hardwick, let Hargrove come out of the backfield and slough off out into the flat and then turn upfield, and Hoover just stood around and dropped the ball in for the touchdown. The snap is back. Atkins' kick is right down the middle. Good. So the Sweetwater Mustangs have extended their lead to 17-7 with 11:49 remaining. Mustang Madness will continue from Amon Carter Stadium in 30 seconds.
Something for nothing. We all know this just doesn't happen. At Carroll Buick, we don't give freebies like gasoline or bedliners or cowboy tickets. We just make good deals on fine automobiles and take care of you after the sale. Wouldn't you rather have a better deal on your car than some free premium you might not use? Come see us at Carroll. We're the ones that don't wear black hats. 219 West Broadway here in Sweetwater.
Welcome back, everyone, to Amon Carter Stadium for a final football time. Sweetwater goes up by a score of 17-7 over number 1 ranked Tomball Cougars. 11:49 remaining in this all-important fourth quarter.
I think all of a sudden you're going to see the ball start to rain from the sky here. Atkins approaches the ball. He kicks it. It's taken by one of that men. No, he gets away from him. Smith has got the ball. He's got some running room. Now he's hammered from the backside at the 35. He's going to fall out to about the 38-yard line. So Tomball gets the ball in good field position on the squib kick, but Bubba Greeley doesn't handle it.
Which is all the okay with W.T. Stapler, I'm sure.
So 17-7 the score. Mustangs up. 11:43 remaining in the contest.
Pavlis now 2 for 9 for 16 yards, 1 interception.
Bubba Greeley wide to the right side. Ball's handed to Myers up the middle. He's got running room. He's in the secondary. It's a foot race, and Welch takes him down at the 40 of the Mustangs. So Lewis Myers, the one that has the most yardage in the playoffs for the Cougars, just on a straight dive right up the middle of the playing field, caught on fire and went deep in Mustang territory. The All-State safety, Michael Welch, came up and made a shoulder throw tackle. That's about the best you can say. He really didn't lock up on him. He just sickled him down, but not before he's in Mustang territory. Smith to the left side. Tight end Tilley. Here's the ball. Comes down to counter option. Pavlis has it. He's got some running room. He's inside the 30. The ball is loose, and they're going to say that he was down.
Oh, goodness. Pavlis just kind of ran into the back of one of his own offensive linemen, just trying to get him out of the way. And on the way down, Pavlis dropped the ball, but the officials on the spot said he was down on about the 28-yard line of the Sweetwater Mustangs. So Tomball will be facing second down and extremely short yardage.
So Pavlis, known for his passing, also is a tremendous runner. He scored 2 touchdowns last week against New Braunfels. Bubba Greeley wide to the left side. Here's Pavlis, hands the ball off to Myers. Myers finds some running room. Then he's taken down at about the 25. Enough for the first down to keep the drive alive, but Bubba Greeley, to be honest with you, did not even get out of his stance. He was split wide to the left side, and he just simply stayed there until the play was over. 10:35, the clock running, 17-7 the score, Mustangs up. That's not going to impress the scouts that much if you just stand around and wind your watch when you're not going to be involved in the play. Now Bubba's going to be in the backfield. He and Myers will be split. Pavlis sprints out to the left side, looking to throw quickly. He's under pressure. He's going to be trapped and sacked back outside the 30, about the 32-yard line. You can run, but you can't hide from the Mustang defense. And number, guess who? 51, Israel Vera, youngster who's played a tremendous football game, had a tremendous season, was injured, had an injured knee in the Pecos game last year. Came back from surgery and worked extremely hard in the offseason and really has solidified the defensive line of the Mustangs. It's going to bring up second down and a long 17 to go. Carl Johnson goes wide to the right side. Smith to the left side. Sprint out past Pavlis, looking to go downfield. He's under pressure. He's going to be taken down. Kyle Hooper took him down at about the 36-yard line. The Mustang defensive line is owning Tomball here in the fourth quarter. They're just pushing him back, and then sloughing the block and getting to Pavlis. He's going to be pushed out to the 36 now. It's going to bring up third down and a long 21 to go. 9:07, the clock continues to run, starting to be a factor in the ball game in favor of the Mustangs.
So again, the off-season weight program is showing its strength for the Mustangs here in the fourth quarter.
Barentes is out to the left side along with Smith. Pavlis is under pressure. He's really hammered. The ball is thrown underneath. Kyle Hooper just really leveled Pavlis right in the chops just before he delivered the football. He threw it at the ground in front of 5 Mustangs, and there was one Cougar in the area. The ball took about 3 hops before it got anywhere close to anyone because Pavlis all of a sudden had started toward the turf here in Amon Carter Stadium. He's standing back at midfield. He gets the snap. He kicks the ball straight down the field. Mustangs have no one back, and it's going to go into the end zone for the touchback.
Pavlis, Charles, looked a little rattled after that last play. He was really decked by Hooper.
He's still dazzled, if you want to know the truth. Look at him. He's having a hard time navigating. The Mustangs will have the ball first and 10 at their own 20-yard line. They have a 17 to 7 lead with 8:39 remaining in this championship football game. Norman comes wide to the left side. Welch wide to the right side. Wishbone backfield. Hoover the quarterback. Second man through Hargrove. He breaks it across the middle to the 20, out to about the 22, 23-yard line. Good blocking up front by Bogues, Russo, and Aldridge allow Hargrove some running room.
So the Sweetwater Mustang offense, really all they have to do is a time-consuming drive, pick up 70 yards or so, eat up a lot of time, and it's state championship time.
Put some more points on the board. Here's Andre Walker. He breaks it out across the 30, out to about the 31. Going to be enough for the first down if they give him his forward progress. They're going to tighten it up a bit by putting it on the line. They're going to say first down and 10, Sweetwater Mustangs, and the clock will start as soon as the chains are moved.
Now then, Andre led all ball carriers in the first half, and he has really shown some moves here in the second half.
Out comes Welch and Norman. In come the 2 tight ends. Expect to see the power offense here. Wishbone backfield. We have Hargrove, Marshall, and here comes Hargrove. He comes over the right side behind good blocking of Creed and the tight end Lee Morris. Short yardage on the play. In comes Redden.
So the burden of proof is on the Cougar defense, who is going to have to get a turnover if that's possible. The Mustangs have done a very good job of holding on to it today.
2 tight ends, Morris right side, Ron Reed tight left side. Second man through Hargrove. Hargrove finds the sledding a little bit tough over the right side. Creed and Russo along with Lee Morris again. Hargrove found a little bit better running room that time. Going to pick up about 3 yards. Going to bring up third down in a long 3. We're going to say closer to 4 yards from our vantage point. We're going to be inside 7 minutes in the ball game when this play is underway. Hoover bows under. Hands the ball off to Hargrove. He tries to break it backside, but he's going to be held shy of the 40-yard line. They're going to stay his knee touched at about the 39, so it's going to be decision time. It's going to bring up fourth down in short yardage. About 2 to go for the Mustangs, and Deputy Stapler is going to say, hey, timeout. So we have a timeout on the playing field. The Mustangs lead the Tomball Cougars by a score of 17-7, and more at the 25-yard line by Barentes. So the ball now goes over to Tomball. They have the ball 75 yards away. They have 6:31 remaining in the ball game, and they trail by 10 by a score of 17-7. So now then, Jeff, let me ask you a question. You're Coach Etheridge over on the far side. You trail by 10 with 6:31, and with very few exceptions today, you've had very little offensive punch. What do you do now to get 2 quick scores?
Obviously, Pavlis, he's highly touted. He can throw the ball. You're going to have to go upstairs, but it's going to be an uphill battle with the Mustang secondary.
Myers is split out to the right side. Here comes Pavlis down the line. He pitches the ball back to Greeley. Greeley is hammered, and the ball is loose on the ground. They're going to say he was down. He took a shot. He did a somersault and came right down on his head.
Number 22, Bubba Greeley on the carry.
I believe Durrell Rather was a youngster who came up and sickled him. When you were a little kid, you bought these little targets that had the little crows on them or little birds, and you shot them with a cork gun and they spun around. That's exactly what Greeley did that time. He made about 3 turns in the air and hit right on his nose. Second down, 10 yards to go, 5:57, the clock running. Mustangs up 17-7. Pavlis comes down the line. He sprints out. He's looking to pass. He's under pressure. Now he goes for all of it right down the middle of the field. Intercepted by Michael Welch. Michael Welch, the All-State safety, picks the ball up at the 39-yard line, intended for the tight end.
Injured Tomball player on the field, the intended receiver. That would be number 89, Jim Tilley.
Tilley probably pulled a muscle in his leg that time because about the time he went for it, Welch just simply annihilated him and stole the ball.
A very alert staff man, Dave Bennett, has informed me that Bubba Greeley did, in fact, break the all-time single-season rushing record. He needed 32 coming into the game. He's got 66 now.
Hargrove breaks it across the middle. He breaks it out across the 40 to the 45 to the 46-yard line. So the offensive line all of a sudden is really starting to hammer again at Tomball. You can't help but think that interception may have taken a little steam out of the defense. They've said, hey, guys, we cannot play the whole ball game today. Y'all are going to have to get something going. 5:24, and the clock runs. Mustangs up 17-7. Second man through, Hargrove over the right side. The ball fumbles, and it's going to be chased by Hoover. He's going to pick it up.
Hoover alertly falls on the ball.
The thing that I can't understand about that is on the previous time that Tomball fumbled the ball like that, they said that it was downed, and the same thing happens here, and it's a fumble. You're not supposed to question anything. The only thing is the Mustangs keep the ball. That's going to bring up third down. And 11 yards to go. 4:53. The clock continues to run.
Mark Redden checks into the ball game at fullback for the Sweetwater Mustangs. And number 21, Maurice Marshall, goes to the sideline.
Here comes Hoover down the line on the option play. He's going to turn up the field. He's to the 40, the 45, out to about the 46-yard line. He picked up a lot of the yardage lost on the fumble, but it's going to bring up fourth down.
But only this time, after Sweetwater punts, Tomball will probably be in worse field position than they were the last time they got the ball, and they've got less time to score. That's 4:15 right now.
Plus the clock continues to run. Lee Morris stands back at about his own 34. The snap is back. He comes up and gets it. It's a high kick. It's coming down. It's going to be taken, the fair catch call for it, about the 22-yard line. So Don Berentez is a designated punt catcher, and that's all he's tried to do. And Tomball have the ball at their own 23-yard line with 3:59 remaining in the ball game. They trail by a score of 17-7 in the fourth quarter. So Jeff, Pavlis has not had one of his super All-American days, and you'll have to give credit to the Mustang defense, the secondary, as well as the entire unit, because they have really bruised his young body all afternoon long. Pavlis comes up. He bows under. Wide receivers left and right. Split backfield. Sprints out to pass to the right side. He's looking to go backside. He's got a man underneath. The tight end catches the ball to 35 and is out to about the 37-yard line. Enough for the first down. The tight end just drug across the middle and picked up the pass. Mustangs evidently playing real soft, deep, but there's no receivers down there open. Pavlis just hit his tight end on the drag. Picked up the first down. 3:47, the clock runs. The chains have been in place. Smith goes to the right side. Pavlis sprints out to the right. He's looking back across the middle. He's going for all of it across the middle. Intercepted by Michael Welch. He picks up another one. It was a terrible pass from Pavlis. His receiver was 10 yards in front of where the ball was thrown. Welch had a tremendous break on the football. He comes across and intercepts his second one, falling down in front and keeping the ball alive. So the Mustangs turn the ball over on the interception return. The Cougars just simply can't get the ball away from Michael Welch. If we could work Welch into Pavlis' stats, he would be in pretty good shape.
Who would you say the odds-on favorite for all-state safety is this year, Charles?
I don't know, but whoever they are, they better be a big, big man. Mustangs right back in the ball game offensively. Ball's handed off to Hargrove, the fullback, over the left side. He's across the 40, out to about the 41.
Pavlis now 3 for 13 for 31 yards and 3 interceptions.
He's only had 4, all season? He had 4, isn't that right? 4 interceptions all season long, and now he's had 3 in this game.
I think you're right, Charles. I think that's right.
I think that's right. He's only had 4 interceptions. He's had 3 in this ball game. Welch comes wide right, Norman wide left. Here's the ball handoff to Andre Walker. He breaks 1 tackle at the 40, out to the 41, maybe the 42-yard line. But the great thing about it, the old man on the wall just keeps ticking along there. Looks like Tomball may have taken a timeout. And they have. So with 2:57 remaining, we have a 3rd down try, and the Mustangs up 17-7. And we'll return for more Mustang Madness in 30 seconds.
For the season, and only needed 37 yards to establish a new Class 4A full season rushing record.
So you can hear the announcer talking about Bubba Greeley, who just broke Paul Rice's 1972 record.
Went for a pass play to Michael Welch, and the ball came up short. Good coverage in the secondary by number 11, Mike Taylor. Broke up the pass, so it's going to bring up 4th down in a punting situation. Bubba Greeley, the all-time 4A rushing leader, but I'm sure that he would gladly trade that for a victory today. With 2:53 remaining, they trail by 10. Now the Mustangs elect to take a timeout, and with 17-7 the score, the Mustangs on top. We'll return for more Mustang football in the State 4A Finals in 30 seconds. High snap, Lee Morris goes high in the air and kicks it. Brent is coming, he's trying to go somewhere, and he's going to be hammered back at about the 21, 22-yard line. So the Mustang defense has a chance to do what they've done all season long. They're 2 minutes and 42 seconds away from winning the State 4A championship. A lot of Cougar fans starting to head for the vans and the buses here, and the Mustang defense has the Tomball Cougars in a hole at the 22-yard line. Remember, they trail by 10, 17-7 with 2:42 remaining. Pavlis comes to the line of scrimmage. He's got Greeley and Myers in the backfield. Smith wide to the right side. Pavlis takes the snap. He drops back to pass. Mustangs playing a little bit soft. Here comes Pavlis. He's going to be scrambling. He's running. He's to the 30, and he's going to touch down at about the 31-yard line, 32-yard line. It's going to be awfully close to the 1st down. Thing about it is, he's running some time off the clock. The clock is stopped.
Until they can move the chains with that?
I haven't seen any signal. They stopped it, and it's been stopped for a long time. Oh, well, the officials on the field had not stopped the clock, but the clock stopped at 2:32. Then they decided to measure it and stop the clock, and the clock has already been stopped for 3 or 4 seconds. From our vantage point, it looks like he's going to make it by about a bump on the ball. No, he's going to be short about that much. So as soon as they get the sticks back over on the sidelines, they ought to start it again.
Kind of tough to read the bumps from up here.
You got to have good eyesight, men. Go to bed early and eat lots of carrots. You'll be in good shape. I've told you all that. 2:32 remain. Now they finally cranked it up. Pavlis up. Comes, hands the ball off to Myers. Myers is hammered as he gets to the line of scrimmage. He's going to fall forward for the 1st down.
But fooling absolutely no one on that play. Pickup of about 1 yard, but it does keep the Tomball drive alive.
2:20. Excuse me, Jeff.
Clock stop, 2:24. Sweetwater on top of Tomball, 17-7.
Now then the clock will start. 2:18, 2:17, and Pavlis has his team to the line of scrimmage. Bubba Greeley comes wide to the left side. Twin receivers to the right side. Sprint out pass. Greeley's coming down. They're going to throw back to him. Michael Welch is hustling to come get this one. He's got his 3rd one. Greeley's going to be penalized 15 yards out of bounds. That's okay. Welch is going to go hug him up, and Greeley is going to be all right.
Boy, no sense in that. No, that looked terrible.
Greeley talking trash.
Greeley would have a little more class. Somebody who works hard for 4 years, has all these yards, and then pulls something like that. You hate to see it.
Well, that's true.
He just went down in my books.
Well, he just lost his cool. He's getting whipped, and he don't like it. That's a competitor there is in him. Something I see that I like is Coach Etheridge is already out there about the hash mark talking to him. He's going to take him out of the game if the official didn't kick him out.
Gosh, that's flagrant face mask.
He was all the way off the warning track whenever he spun him around and threw him into the concrete wall. So,
by the way, that was Tomball's first penalty of the afternoon.
Oh, well, they are number one, Jeff. Or they were number one coming in.
2 minutes and 2 seconds. That's how much time we have left before the celebration begins here on the home side of Amon Carter Stadium. Sweetwater appears to be headed to its first 4A football championship.
And Pavlis just tied his season output in interceptions today with 4. Did Welch have 3 of them, or does he have all of them? 3 of the 4. Okay.
Davis had 1. Chris
That's
Davis
right.
picked
Davis
up 1.
had the one from the Rover spot. 2 tight ends in the ball game. Hoover turns, hands the ball off to Hargrove. He is really hammered by number 70. Have to wait and
72, I believe, Charles.
A reserve, Tony Siegler, a sophomore, getting a little action in a championship game. That was a good training film there on farm tackling because he really hammered Hargrove as he got back to the line of scrimmage.
Clock is moving, 1:42. Sweetwater fans standing.
They thought they were at an A&M game. They hadn't been seated all day. They shouldn't have charged them admission for seats. They should have just let them stand up down there somewhere.
Stand for free.
2 tight ends in the ball game. Here's a quick pitch to Andre Walker. He finds some running room out across the 40 to about the 41. Clock continues to run as he stays in bounds. 1:17. The clock continues to run. There's a timeout on the playing field. There is an injured player on the field. One of the Mustangs slow to get up. Rick Davis, Johnny on the spot, as he always is.
By the way, you're listening to 1240 Radio, KXOX from Sweetwater, and also KVKM, 1330 AM in Monahans.
Andre Walker kind of got a little tap at the end of that run, so he came out under his own power. He's okay. Since they had to take a timeout and administer to him, he'll have to go out of play. The coaches from up in the high and the top Amon Carter Stadium have put their stuff down and gone down on the sidelines to get in on the celebration.
Yeah, lots of hugging going on already.
Hoover, the quarterback, bows down. We're under a minute, 55 seconds left. Hoover comes down the line on the option play. He keeps the football. He breaks it. He's to the 45, out to the 46, 47. It's going to be close to the first down. They're going to keep the clock running.
So Hoover has had an outstanding performance today.
There's a big scramble, and the Mustangs, they say there's a fumble down there, but they're going to, no, I think they finally said it was just a first down. So the Mustangs pick up a first down. Hoover fooled everyone, picks up the first down, so they'll move the sticks, get the ball in play, and then there's nothing to do but just say, hey, folks, we're number 1. Let's go. Cheerleaders holding up a sign down on the Mustang sidelines. We're number 1.
There's only one team now that can say it.
That's right. There's a whole bunch of them started out in August. 30 seconds, 29. Hoover stands in. He takes the ball, hands the ball off to Hargrove. Hargrove comes across midfield into Tomball territory. 23 seconds left on the clock. That's a first down.
Hargrove gets out to the 50-yard line.
For any of you that were interested, that was a 4th down try.
22 seconds.
And
the celebration starting in the press box.
W.T. Stapler is jumping around like someone put matches in his seat. Mustangs do not have to snap the football. Coach Etheridge is coming across. The Mustangs have mauled one another all over the playing field. Etheridge is consoling his players, and W.T. Stapler, the class guy he is working his way over there. The clock has expired, and the Sweetwater Mustangs have won the state 4A championship in Amon Carter Stadium on the campus of TCU in Fort Worth, Texas, by a score of 17-7 over the number 1 ranked 4A team in the state, the Tomball Cougars. The Sweetwater Mustangs, the representative from the tough 2 4A district, come away with the state championship. KXOX 1240 Sports will continue with more Mustang madness in just a moment.
And that's going to wrap up today's action on KXOX Radio in Sweetwater from Fort Worth, Texas. But don't go away, because we'll have the post-game show coming up shortly here. Today's broadcast is also being heard on KVKM, 1330 on your AM dial in the Monahans, Texas area.
It